Thank you for joining us. You're watching a career success video from Computer Coach. Computer Coach is a Tampa-based computer training center specializing in helping IT and business professionals add on the skills they need to reach their desired career goals. If you are job searching, in transition, or are looking for guidance, please feel free to reach out to us at www.computercoach.com. Now, let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So I'm Suzanne Ricci, and it is my absolute pleasure to go over today with you amplifying your professional brand. And what we're going to talk about today is a job search strategy that we often hear about, which is professional branding. People say, get out there, do your professional branding. But what does that really mean? And so today, the goal of today's webinar is to discuss this. We'll have some time for some Q&A. And then hopefully see some of us putting our newfound branding techniques into action. So let's start by dropping our LinkedIn's into the chat. And so I will go ahead and drop in my LinkedIn. And if you are watching this webinar on replay, well, you won't be able to drop your LinkedIn into the chat, but you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn is /in/Suzanne Ricci. And I just dropped it into chat for attendees on the live. And if you are watching this on replay, then just send me a connection request. All right, so let's talk about what is your professional brand. And one of my favorite quotes is, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And that quote is from Jeff Bezos. And that translates so well when we are talking about professional branding. If you were selected to work on a project and you weren't in the room, and let's say your name just came up, would others in the room say, oh, yes, please, let's have Cassandra Perez join our team? Or would they say, oh, no, please don't call Cassandra. She's not going to do her share. That is what your brand is, what people are going to say about you when you're not in the room. And the great thing is that you can control your professional brand. You can control how it is that we are perceived. You can help others think of you when opportunities arise. You can curate your professional brand so that others think of specific things when your name comes up. And all of that is about professional branding. When it comes to branding, we need to know what it is that we want and why we're going after this. We need to plan out our who, what, when, where, and why. Who is our brand for? What do we want our brand to be? When are we going to have this brand? Like, my professional brand very much translates into my personal life as well. Where are we going to do branding? And most importantly, when you are conducting branding for your career, why are you doing this? And understanding clearly your why is what's going to really help you curate the brand that you're looking for. So up first, what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be a subject matter expert, a thought leader? Do you want to be job specific knowledge? Like, maybe I want to be known as one of the leading pen testers in Tampa Bay. Do you want to be known for community involvement? I mean, you can even craft your brand to be known as that person that's like, oh, so exclusive and only talks at one event per year. You know, I mean, you can craft your brand however it is you want to. You can craft your brand to be the shock jock, or you can craft your brand to be the subject matter expert who is approachable and helpful and friendly. All of this is about knowing, what do you want to be known for? So when we're talking about determining our goals for branding, we want to talk about why, which we just said. Why do you want to participate in branding? Do you want more open job opportunities within your current role? Do you want to never have to apply for a job again and have a warm network that if you were to put a post out on LinkedIn that said, I'm looking for my next opportunity, would people create an opportunity for you to join their team? Or would you have to sit and apply to 400 or 500 jobs? I read the posts on LinkedIn just like everyone else, talking about I've applied for 500 jobs and haven't gotten one reply. And the only thing I think of in my head is, where is your warm network? So creating your why do you want to do professional branding is so important. And then how are you going to get that brand out there? Are you going to do it through community involvement? Do you want traffic to your LinkedIn, your website? Do you want more speaking opportunities? How are you going to get your brand out to whoever your community is, which is our next step? So after we understand why we want to do professional branding and how we want to do it, maybe I don't have the luxury of going out to 7 in-person networking events per week because of my life commitments, but I can then conduct professional branding on LinkedIn. I can do it through virtual networking events during the day. But we want to make sure that we're creating our target market. Who is our brand for? Is our brand for other professionals within our industry? Is our brand for the hiring managers within our organization? So maybe we would get selected for open roles. Who is our brand for is really important. So now we've talked about the why, we've talked about how we want to get our brand out there, and we've talked about who our brand is for. Those 3 steps are really important when we're crafting our professional branding strategy. So before we get into some tips on how to actually conduct professional branding, we're going to talk about some brand strategy do's. 1, make sure you are being authentic. In the world of today's internet and technology, you really want to make sure that the brand you are crafting is authentic to you. 1, it's going to be easier to maintain it if it really is who you are. It's going to be easier to implement it. Let's just say that. You want to make sure that you are consistent. No sense in starting to do some professional branding, doing some of the techniques that we are talking about today, finding your next job role, and then stopping to have to start all over again if you need to look for another job. It's so much effort to get the ball rolling. I understand that. I recognize that. But once you have momentum, it's easier to keep your strategies going. And that's what I would strongly encourage you to do. Don't stop and start. Even if you slow down, just don't stop. Be consistent. Make sure you're innovative in what you're doing. One of the strategies we absolutely all use is we look at others who are doing branding techniques that we may want to emulate. We always look at others as far as, oh, well, let's see, you know what? I would love to have a professional brand like this individual. What do they do in their professional branding? But we also want to be innovative and not just only doing what others are doing. So think outside the box. And then be confident in your branding strategy. I understand it's so easy to get that imposter syndrome, to get in your own mind, to be like, why are they even listening to me? This is crazy. But you know what? We all have so much to give. So be confident. Even if you need to write out your affirmations and read them every morning, read them 10 times a day, whatever it takes. But do have the confidence to engage in the branding strategies that you are looking for. So now that we've gone over how, why, the target market, some branding strategy do's, let's talk about some techniques that we can use. So up first, we're going to need a 30-second commercial. I have no idea why I chose this image other than it just makes me smile. I think it's because I did have a chocolate lab that looked just like this little guy on the screen, but he really has nothing to do with representation for a 30-second commercial other than he clearly wants to eat that hamburger, right? So we will need a 30-second commercial. So let's talk about what is our 30-second commercial. Our 30-second commercial, you'll hear it also called an elevator pitch. There's different names that you'll hear it called by, but what it is it is a very brief way that you can introduce yourself. And if you are going to engage in professional branding techniques, we need to get comfortable talking about ourselves. And our 30-second commercial or elevator pitch can help us do that. We can write out our elevator pitch which should include your name, experience, your interest, your passion, your strengths, your goals. We write these things out. What is your experience? What is your interest? What is your passion? What are your strengths? What are your goals? And then we can craft a 25 to 30 word paragraph, because it's going to be more than one sentence, about who you are as a professional. Then you can rehearse your 30-second commercial so that as you are rehearsing, you're becoming more comfortable talking about yourself. You have to get comfortable talking about yourself. So when it comes to crafting 30-second commercials, I like to use the PEN framework, we call it. PEN is our passion, our experience, and what's next. So if I had to write out a 30-second introduction for myself, it would be something like, hi, I'm Suzanne Ricci. I'm passionate about helping others. For the last 22 years, I've helped IT and business professionals create the career they want through innovative plans that include training, career guidance, and strategy sessions. I'm looking forward to 20 more years. What about you? We're crafting an introduction that sounds natural. And the way we can do that is using PEN. What are you passionate about? What is your experience? And what is next? So my passion is helping others. You will quickly learn from talking to me that I would much prefer to hear about you, talk about you, hear about your goals than talk about myself. What is my experience? I have done exactly this for 22 years. I can't believe it's even been 22 years. I have been in technology training, helping individuals find the career path they want within IT and business, crafting those career strategies that are going to get them the roles, looking at what skills they need to add on to be marketable, and actually implementing those training classes. And then what's next for me? Well, honestly, I can't imagine doing anything else. So this is what I want to do. So if I'm out networking, this is very close to how I would introduce myself to you. But let's say I know many of you are job seekers. Maybe many of you are in transition. So let's say I'm a job seeker and I want to career transition from one area to another. Then I can still use the PEN framework, writing out and being able to articulate my passion, my experience, and what's next. So if I'm a job seeker and I'm transitioning, maybe my 30-second commercial is going to sound more like, hi, I'm Suzanne Ricci. I'm passionate about data analytics. And with 15 years in business operations, I discovered I'm really good at transferring data into meaningful and understandable graphics and reports. I'm looking for a new opportunity as a data analyst in the finance industry. Tell me about you. Using the passion, experience, and what's next makes it a very easy flow in introducing yourself. Now, when you are a job seeker, and if you watch any of my Tuesday webinars, which at Computer Coach, we run job strategy technique webinars every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. It's either myself, our Director of Career Services, Danielle Ori, or our Director of Admissions, Cassandra Perez. We come online and we help individuals in their career transitions learn about alternative job search strategies. If you have been on any of those, you know every single webinar it comes up. Job seekers need to know what it is they're looking for. They need to know the types of jobs they're looking for in the industries that they want to work in. Why? Because if I am on an online webinar, or I am in an in-person webinar, or I meet somebody sitting next to me at my son's soccer practice, networking opportunities are all around us all the time. I want to be able to convey what it is I'm looking for. Why? Because if I tell them the exact role in the industries that I'm looking for, then they can help me. If I tell them, I'm looking for a new opportunity, I'm in transition, they're just going to say, well, good luck, and they're not going to be able to help me. So PEN helps you be specific when introducing yourself. So the next technique we're going to talk about is in-person networking, where we're going to utilize that 30-second commercial or elevator pitch that we just crafted. And again, remember that elevator pitch should be 25 to 30 words. In-person networking events really help to grow your network. But it's really important that as you are out growing your network, you are following up with the individuals that you meet. inviting individuals to other networking events with you. We want to take those introductions and we want to grow them into what we call our trusted network or our warm network. So what is your trusted or warm network? That is going to be individuals that you could actually call upon and you could talk to. So not somebody I just met and I never followed up with them. And if I saw them out again, I may remember their face. I may be like, oh my God, I know this person, but somebody that you would actually know. So as we're out networking, the goal is to take our connections and move them into a trusted network. So as we're out networking, the topic or the question I get all the time is, Suzanne, networking is so stressful. How do I start conversations? Well, we just crafted that 30-second introduction that we have, or our elevator pitch, using the PEN framework, but there's some other techniques that I wanted to cover today with you. So one of them is the conversation stack by Dale Carnegie. If you have not taken a Dale Carnegie course, it's okay. If you go on YouTube, one of their franchisees has made a video on what they call the conversation stack. And the conversation stack allows you to create conversations naturally in a non-awkward way until you find things that you have in common where your conversation could then springboard. So in the conversation stack, you start with your name, you start with where do you live, and where do you live in a networking event can be covered in a few different ways. So you can say, oh, hey, I'm Suzanne. Oh, great, it's nice to meet you. So, hey, how long was your commute today? How long did it take you to come to today's event? Oh, it took me about 10, 15 minutes. Oh, what part of town do you live in? Not awkward. Oh, I live over here. Oh, me too. Hey, from there, you can start talking about your local area. Hey, what's your favorite restaurant in that particular area? Or you can do hey, so where are you from? Especially if you're in Tampa or an area that has a lot of transplants. You could start with your name, get them to introduce themselves, and then say, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, if you have some type of connection to Atlanta, Georgia, then the conversation can springboard from there. If you don't have anything in common, once you're covering the where do you live, you can move on to the what do you do? Do you like to travel? What are your hobbies? And it's this great flow of conversation that allows you to conveniently, as I said, in a non-awkward way, find things in common with others. So do look up on YouTube the conversation stack if you find starting conversations to be awkward or difficult. The other thing I wanted to point out today are some just conversation starters that you can memorize, okay? When you're meeting people out at networking events, you want to ask questions that aren't yes or no questions. You want to ask questions that can lead to a broader conversation, because even if you're not using the conversation stack, the goal is to still engage in finding things in common so that your conversation can springboard and become more authentic and more fluid and more memorable. So things like, what brought you to this event today? I noticed you're in the finance industry. How'd you get started in that field? What do you find most exciting about your work? Have you attended any other networking events recently? What was your favorite networking event you attended? What did you like about it? What are some passion projects you're currently working on? Do you have any favorite books or podcasts? That's great if you're in an event for your industry. Let's say it's all marketing professionals and you work in marketing analytics, being able to ask like, oh, have you read any good books or listened to any good podcasts recently on marketing? Getting recommendations. If you're going to ask that, make sure you have recommendations yourself, because when they ask that back to you, you definitely don't want to be like, oh, I don't read. That would be awkward, right? So some other questions you can ask: what trends or developments do you see shaping our industry? If you could offer one piece of advice to someone starting in whatever industry or profession, what would it be? That's my go-to right there, honestly. A lot of it has to do with what I do for a living, because then I can help pay that information forward to other people in my network. But that's a great one because people really do love talking about themselves. So if you ask them questions that they can talk about themselves, it can help you springboard to other non-awkward conversation. Hopefully these tips will help you when you are out in-person networking. Most importantly, you want to make sure when you are networking online or in person, you are connecting meaningfully and follow up. do make sure you follow up. If you say, you know what, I'll send you an email, please do send an email. Now, ideally, you will be following up the next day. That night may seem a little weird depending on how much time has been in between meeting the individuals. If you met somebody in breakfast, then following up in the midday or later that evening probably is okay. But if not, the next day, at the very least, make sure you are following up by the end of the week. I like to talk about follow-up Fridays. If you have not been able to follow up with anybody that you've met throughout the week, then make sure on Friday you carve out time to send emails, send text messages, however it is that you're going to connect. Even if it's on sending a LinkedIn message, make sure you're following up. So important. Statistically, only 20% of people follow up. So if you follow up, you're going to be so far ahead of the game. Up next, we're going to talk about virtual networking. There's all kinds of virtual networking events around us. Some of them are like this. You get an introduction to drop your LinkedIn into the chat. You can connect with individuals who did drop their LinkedIns into the chat. If you did not drop your LinkedIn in, go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity now. Drop your LinkedIn into the chat. You can follow up with individuals. Tell them that you met them on the Amplifying Your Professional Brand, or that you were on, not that you met them, but that you were on Amplifying Your Professional Brand with them. Check out their LinkedIn, see if you have anything in common, read the About section. That is how you're going to create lasting connections. Sometimes on virtual networking, there are different online networking events that literally will let you go around and introduce yourself. For me, I love to do a lot of different networking events because I love to see the different types of events that are out there. Another technique, if you are going to start with professional branding, you are going to need to write your bio and take a great headshot. Now, not too long ago, we used to talk about there's so many headshot parties out there and you can get great headshots all around you. At Computer Coach, we are creating the career track for B-Side St. Pete, which if you are in Tampa Bay and you're in cybersecurity, that is a don't miss event. That is on September 16th over at SPC at the Seminole campus. If you want more info, just reach out to me or someone on my team. We're happy to get you more information. B-Sides is a cybersecurity conference. And at B-Sides in the career track, we are currently trying to put together a photographer to take headshots. So there are headshot opportunities all around us. Different networking events run headshot parties. You can find a professional photographer who will take headshots of you if that's what you want. Or all three of the pictures that you're looking at on this screen are me, and they were all created with AI. So I did not do my makeup. I did not do my hair. I actually dropped some selfies into a program called tryitonai.com. And for 15 bucks, I got 100 headshots. Some of them spectacular. Some of them not so much. Some of them didn't even look like me. Some of them did look like me, but I dropped in selfies of me with my glasses, without my glasses, with makeup on, without makeup on, and I got back some great headshots. And if you are going to engage in professional branding techniques, you are going to need a bio and you are going to need a headshot because you're going to get asked for it. One, you need it for your social media. Another technique that we're going to talk about. LinkedIn in particular, the strength to your success on LinkedIn is your profile strength. Getting to an all-star profile is going to give you 40 times more opportunities than those who didn't. Having an awesome headshot is your first impression. So you don't have to run out anymore and get your makeup done and your hair done. You can use a tool like tryitonai.com. Out of 100 headshots, you're going to get one that looks like you. Or if you're out and about at an event like B-Side St. Pete coming up and there's a headshot photographer there, take advantage of the opportunity. Or if you want to go and take professional photos, do that too, but you're going to need a great picture for your social media. Another tip for your social media, you're going to need some great headlines that really speak to what is your professional brand. Now, if you're in a job search, you absolutely on LinkedIn want your professional brand to say the job title that you're searching for, as well as some skills, because that will help you come up in searches. But if you are in career success mode, you're not looking to job search or career change or any of that, then make sure you come up with your unique selling proposition to what is your brand and put that in your headline. You want your headline to be keyword rich for what it is you do. Now, one of the ways that you can really craft your professional brand or take your brand to the next level is going to be creating content. We're curating our brand, creating content. Now, one of the things you can do to create content. Now, LinkedIn is not the right social media platform for every career path. I recognize that. This is where you as professionals need to know what works best for you. Should you be using Instagram? Should you be using Facebook? Should you be using Twitter? Should you be using LinkedIn? Maybe you need to use a combination of all of them. But whatever it is, make sure you're posting frequently. I say post daily. Sometimes that's not realistic for everyone. I recognize that, but do post daily. Create custom content. Share news from articles that are going on in your industry. You know, if there's YouTube videos, maybe there's a snippet of a YouTube video that really resonates with you, then share that. Add some content to it. Share posts from colleagues. The most important thing in professional branding is make sure that you're getting your brand out there. You have to be comfortable talking about yourself and sharing content. So I get asked all the time, great, Suzanne, wonderful. You want me to post content. What do I say and where do I find content? This is where you need to really invest in understanding your industry and your career path. I sign up for a ton of newsletters about all things IT, career success, job search, all different types of newsletters from Inc. to SHRM, the HR Industry Association. Well, why do I get the newsletter from SHRM? Because I help individuals find the roles they're looking for. I need to know what's going on in HR. And that is what allows me to give content to my network or my community. I consider myself a curator of content for my network. Podcasts, blogs, books, all kinds of great ways to share content out there. Find what works for you. And if you want some specific suggestions just for you, then reach out to me. I would love to have a chat with you to learn more about what it is you're doing and the professional branding that you want to engage in. And maybe we could come up with some ideas together. All right, when we are posting, regardless of the platform, have some calls to action. You know, comment below, share your thoughts. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think. Those types of calls to action are going to allow people to engage because social media allows you to have conversations with individuals, right? It's social. Some people who are introverted prefer to do professional branding strictly through social media because they're not comfortable talking to people face to face, but maybe they are comfortable behind the computer. Make sure that whatever you're posting is in line with who you are as a professional. Really important. Next technique that we're going to talk about is getting out there and finding speaking opportunities. Speaking opportunities is where your bio and your headshot are going to be used again, right? Not only are they going to be used in social media, they're going to be used on your virtual webinar platform of choice, but they're also going to be used when you get out to do speaking opportunities. Speaking opportunities are a great way to showcase your knowledge. And people say to me, but Suzanne, I'm new. What am I going to talk about? You know what? There's all kinds of things that you can talk about. And there's always people that are more new to an industry or a career path than you. So talk about 3 things I wish I would have known before I jumped into a career in XYZ. Give a presentation on career transitioning. What has your journey been like? That all on its own is so powerful. And so many people are going to really connect with your career journey because they're in the same journey themselves. So when it comes to finding speaking opportunities, meetups are a great way to find opportunities. There's so many meetups out there on topics that may be applicable to you. If not, you can start your own meetup and start finding speakers to speak at your meetup. Also, you can apply for conferences. Start small and work your way up to large national conferences. But speaking opportunities are a great way to amplify your professional brand. And then don't forget, snap pics, make some social posts. Another technique you can use is starting a blog or a website. Now, this is time consuming, I will admit, but starting a blog or a website about your professional career, who you are as a professional, is a great branding technique. This can be done pretty affordably. Some blogs you can start for free. Others, you'll need to invest some money in hosting and maybe some software or two. But starting blogs and websites range from being able to do it for free all the way up to having, someone do it for you, which is obviously going to be more expensive. But starting a blog or a website is a great technique for professional branding. And then one of the techniques I love, which I feel like is often overlooked, is joining groups and volunteering, getting involved. Now, you can do this virtually or you can do this in person. I, in particular, love to volunteer at tech conferences in my local area. Computer Coach is headquartered in the beautiful Tampa Bay area. We are over by Raymond James Stadium. Any Bucks fans out there? Woo woo. So we have a lot of different tech conferences in Tampa Bay. I like to volunteer at those tech conferences. Why? It gives me an opportunity to meet like-minded individuals. It allows me to meet individuals within my industry. It also allows me to give back to my community and make a better tech scene for everyone who's in the industry locally. Joining groups, you can, as I talked about earlier, joining different meetups. If there's not a meetup for what you're interested in, then start that meetup. You're going to find others who are also interested in that. I run 5 different meetups at this point. I always feel so overwhelmed on how many people join the meetup because they were looking for that same content that I wanted to share and connect with others over. So join groups, get out there and volunteer in purposeful ways for your professional brand. If you want some ideas for different volunteering or groups, again, we're happy to chat at Computer Coach. We would love to learn more about what it is you're doing and give you some suggestions. Now, one of the techniques that is really important to professional branding is making sure that you are continuing to upskill, add on skills, certifications. There's lots of different ways that you can upskill. However, if you are going to engage in professional branding, you want to make sure that you are staying relevant in your industry. So important. Upskilling, continuing education, adding on certifications if you are in tech are all different ways that you can stay relevant and make sure that the information that you are giving out to your community is up to date and can be impactful. We want to be sure that we are positively impacting others. So if you are in the Tampa Bay area, there are some training grants available that can cover 100% of the cost for you to upskill at Computer Coach if you qualify. So regardless of where you live, if you're in Tampa Bay, that's Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, Hernando, Polk, Sarasota, Manatee. If you are in the local area and you are, maybe you've done a skills assessment and you realize, you know what, I'm missing these particular skills, or there are certain skills that you just know, you know what, I would love to transition into this particular career path. I'd love to add on these skills. Do have a conversation with us. We would love to help you on your journey and see if you do qualify for any grants that can cover 100% of the cost. So in conclusion, branding takes time, but as I said earlier, please don't stop. There are different ways that we can amplify our brand. Some of them take more work than others. Some of them, honestly, they're pretty easy to get going on. So take the tips from today that work for you, and I hope to see you out there branding really soon. So at Computer Coach, we do offer free career strategy sessions. So as I talked about the training grants, but you don't have to use a grant to come to Computer Coach. So if you do want to talk about where you are in your career, just reach out to either myself, Cassandra Perez, she's on the call with us today, and we are happy to set up a career strategy session for you and see if we can help you get to where it is you are looking to go. If we can't, we will be the first ones to tell you that, and we will still be friends, and I hope to see you on other webinars that we run. So on the screen is a QR code that will take you to our Eventbrite. I get asked all the time, Suzanne, you guys do so much. How do I know what you're doing? Honestly, follow us on Eventbrite is the answer. So if you follow us on Eventbrite, you'll be notified of all of the different types of events that we have going on, that we sponsor at Computer Coach, that we put together, that we, know about in the industry that we think are helpful for IT professionals in their journey towards career success. So scan the QR code, follow us on Eventbrite. At Computer Coach, we run quite a few in-person networking events, which are on our Eventbrite. We also run, as I said, our Tuesday job search strategy webinars. We also have guest speaker series on Thursday and Friday where we invite in local experts, either in career success categories or in technology categories, to help share what it is they know. And if you Want to start your speaking journey and you're passionate about a topic, then reach out to me. We can see if there is a way that we can get you in as a guest speaker on our guest speaker series. And then also some of our marquee events that we run every year are National Techie Day Celebration, which our 5th annual National Techie Day Celebration is up in October. We have our CyberX Tampa Bay, which is a huge cybersecurity celebration, is also coming up in October. All those events are posted on our Eventbrite, and all of our events are free and open to the public. All right, if you came in after and we are not connected on LinkedIn, then scan this QR code, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to drop my LinkedIn into the chat again for anyone who joined a little bit after 10 o'clock so that we can connect and share our career journeys together. With that, thank you so much for listening to me today. I am going to stop my share and then I'm going to open up for questions.
To learn more about our training programs, classes, and what sets us apart, please visit our website at www.computercoach.com.